And the show begins. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick Zanoni, and welcome to eLearnChat, where talk, it's knowledge. I'm joined today by, right there, you can see her. There she is. The invisible, the ninja co-host.
That's it.
She has been gone a long time, and we went through memory retraining. We know who she is again. And how have you been, Dawn?
I've been well, thank you. Back in the land of winter this week.
Yeah, and we finally got to meet at Devlin, but we can talk about that in a moment.
Yes.
Let's start the show intro. Here we go. Our guest who's with us today, you heard him as he was asking for a cup of coffee during the intro.
So, I thought I muted.
Hey, no.
No, you didn't.
Can you quickly make a cup of coffee?
Send us one, too.
That's my lovely assistant.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, we've got Brent Schlenker with us. A
Hello.
good friend, and he's been with us several times before, and let's get him on there. There he is. Hey, Brent, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you guys. Dawn, hello.
Hello.
Well, you know, this is actually kind of a nice reunion because for the first time, I got to meet you at DevLearn for at least 5 minutes. And I also met Dawn for, I don't even know if it was 5 minutes. It was so quick.
No, you got pulled away. So I visited with your lovely wife for quite a while.
Did you really?
10 to 15 minutes I was there. We were chatting.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to me. As I'm talking to you, I'm facing you. Next thing I know, I'm facing somewhere else. And I go,
yeah,
what
they
happened?
pulled you over.
Yeah,
Lori had
I'm
something
always
for you
just
to
happy
do.
if I can get a few minutes with everybody. You know, if I get more than that, I consider myself lucky, but just happy to get a few minutes to say hi and get a quick handshake or a hug in always works for me.
Yeah, and I happened to see you. You were talking to Gina Schreck.
Yeah.
So I saw Gina. Gina was working in the iSpring booth. We were helping out a little bit over there, and
That's right.
But it
Okay.
really, I went, man, and then you were gone. You had to go somewhere, and we took off. I think we had to head back up to the room and get some equipment or something. But those were quick meetings. It was like, hi, how are you? Hey, Dawn. Dawn's gone. Huh?
I wasn't gone,
She's
though.
one
I
of
was just
those. No,
behind
I
you.
know. I'm just joking. But I
And I
never
got
saw
to
you
meet-
again.
No, I came looking for you, but I did meet Gina for the first time. So
Oh, you did meet Gina.
Yes, the next day, and I got to meet Brent and so many people. And as a semi DevLearn attendee, it was worth my trip.
That's
so
cool.
Very glad I went. Got the
Yeah, it was
expo
fun to see you and
pass.
everybody.
Yeah, very much so. Litmos eLearning Chief Learning Strategist. Wow,
Yeah, we're looking at about 8 months now.
wow. Time goes by quickly.
I know, right?
One more month, you'll have a little litmus.
Yeah, it's it's been a very fun ride, a great learning experience so far. So yeah, it's loads of fun. It was interesting being back at DevLearn as a vendor.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Being programming it for so long, and then just being a speaker beforehand, and and then to go as a vendor was a fun new experience.
Easier, more difficult? You have to focus on one channel of your brain instead of so many, right?
I think it was just different, really. I mean, I don't know, hard to explain. I think a lot for me is trying to get out of the mindset of, and maybe I'm not even supposed to, I don't know. I guess that's the other part that I'm working on, right? Trying to get out of the mindset of supporting the industry as a whole and start learning how to think from a product perspective and product stuff. Thank you, sweetie. That's my coffee girl.
Yeah, I need a coffee. Girl.
Hey, where's the tip?
Yeah, right.
She gets plenty of tips. But yeah, so I think that's the biggest personal challenge for me, but it's the fun part of the job, and really why I took it was really learning how to get that view and that perspective, and do it with a product that I actually really love, and I did even before I joined the company. So yeah, it's different, challenging and exciting, fun all at the same time. So definitely have to put my product hat on, marketing hat, readjust my mentors that I go to for information. A lot more marketing people in my quick, immediate circle these days, just trying to learn, that side of being on the vendor side as opposed to events and, learning, how to be, the speaking side of things, the contracts, and all the things that go into putting the event on. So not
Brent,
having to think about all that stuff leading up to the events that I attend is a relief.
now, Brent, we have a little video for you that we took from your website. Here we go.
Litmos is the most user-friendly learning management system in the world. How do we know? People tell us. It's quick and easy to get started, and because it's a hosted system, there's no software to download. So what makes us different? We are SCORM certified, and we like to keep it simple by giving you just the tools you need to run a successful online learning program. With all the buzz about mobile learning, we've made it easy for your learners to do courses on a desktop or on the go from an iPad or mobile phone. And if you want to sell your courses online, we provide the tools for self-registration and payment. Oh, and did I mention our exceptional customer service? But don't just take my word for it. Head to the customer page at litmos.com to read some of the great comments we regularly receive from our clients. Get started with a free trial today. It's time to love your LMS.
Well, that was it. No, there was audio. What happens is because we're through a mixer, we don't get the audio back through the mixer. There's no loopback feature in Wirecast. So as a result, on the stream you could hear it. You just can't hear it through us.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thanks for playing that. We've updated the logo quite a bit, and Nicole is off, doing a new venture now with her husband, a company called Revert.io.
Now, was that Nicole? I thought it was her.
That was Nicole.
It was her. Yeah, she's very pretty.
Yep, she does a great job. She made an outstanding spokesperson for Litmos when they first got the company started.
Yeah, that's how we heard about Litmos. We met her at the mLearn. You and I couldn't meet that time. I don't know. We kept missing each other, and by the time we did catch each other, you were gone, or we were gone. I think we had to leave a day early. But that's the first time I met her, and she was really nice. Really, I guess it was her and her husband who did the company, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember she started getting on social media, and I remember meeting her that way. And then of course, she became a vendor. The company started to grow because they really did have something special in the product, even in the early days. And so they started becoming a vendor at our events, and so.
Well, what I always liked about Litmos is it was simple, but it worked.
Yep.
We used to do that. That was one of, I don't know if we're still doing that. Leslie's the one who does most of the LMS testing. But she was using Litmos as one of the, between SCORM Cloud and Litmos, those were our two main tests. And if it worked on both of those, we're pretty happy. It usually worked everywhere. Yeah,
cool. So. It's definitely one of the features I loved. I used it before I started working for the company, and I just loved, for me, as starting up a fresh training organization within a company, it was just so easy to just start up an LMS. I'd had so many experiences installing and going through the 6-month, 12-month, whatever process of.
You must have the scars. I know those well.
Yeah, right. And the big enterprise implementations, that it was just so delightful, really, to just fire it up, software as a service, and by the end of the day, have content in and courses ready to go. So it's I've been a big fan from the very beginning.
Yeah, and simple is better. It just works better.
Well, we have a question out in the chat room. I'm hoping we get more, but
cool.
Holly wants to know what you see as the future of the LMS in general. And Andrea is also asking, do you have course size limitations in Litmos or any of the versions of Litmos?
Great questions. Was the first one, so the future of the LMS, and the second one, course size limitations. I believe that there are size limitations for video, for example. You can only upload a file of a certain size, but really the beauty of that, honestly, is the creativity of working within constraints, right? It really forces you to kind of rethink what you're doing. And I've uploaded some pretty long videos and just kind of needed to compress them a little bit, and they still looked fine. But as far as the number of modules, that's something I have not run into a max, only because I'm just such a big fan of keeping things short and simple and not taking up too much of a learner's time. So, I've never really thought to ask if maybe our course modules have a maximum number of modules.
Well, I don't know if it helps, but we've loaded at least 100 megabytes worth of a course, and that was a pretty large course and had no issue.
Wow,
it had
that's
about
great.
maybe
Good to
10
hear.
SCOs. I think there were like 10 SCOs through it, and it ran fine. That didn't have any. I don't think we haven't run into any constraints when we've used it, so I think it works okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think those types of questions aren't. They've never really been an issue for anybody. Like I said, especially these days where smaller is better.
Now, was that Holly McDonald?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Well, and the size limitation was actually from Andrea May. But
okay.
Yeah, and she builds really big courses and projects that take years to develop. So I'm asking for you to fill in a little bit more about size, and we can, kind of shoot it past them.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Let's see. Well, that's for sure. Let me just say this. I always tell everybody I meet, feel free to connect with me offline or online, or really about any type of questions like that, whether it's Litmos questions or not. Part of what I love doing is interacting with the community and helping share my experiences with everybody else that's, out there on the front lines doing this for a living. So, have her connect with me. I'll find out. I'll get some more details to see kind of how to answer the question effectively. I'd need to know a little bit more about what one of her current courses looks like. And
she's saying 600 megabytes is a course. And by
That's
the
a
way,
big
Holly
course.
is waving to all of us. Yeah. Andrew's in the propane industry, building e-learning courses that keep people safe at work. It's
Okay.
kind of a big deal.
So OSHA.
oh yeah, the
A
safety
lot of
stuff,
OSHA
right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Photos, video, content rich.
Yeah, my gut says Litmos could totally handle it.
Cool.
I'm not.
Probably not on a device.
What's that?
Probably not on a device.
Well, I wouldn't do a near 1 gigabyte on a device anyway. That's
No,
pretty
no.
large. Though a lot could be done. Depends how large the courses are and how much can be done with compression. Because you can compress anything pretty small. You lose a little bit sometimes, but especially if you're going into devices and mobile, you need to compress probably more. Even though devices are.
So here's the deal, right? One of the things I discovered, I guess if we're in there's two different ways we think about courses, right? And Litmos has this sort of built-in capability to modularize the different elements of your course. So if you're a course developer and you're very used to using a large tool and ending up with one big giant long SCORM package that has all of the interface and the modules and the assessments and everything all built into that one package, and then you export it and you end up with a 1600 megabyte file or SCORM package that you have to load into an LMS, I'm fairly certain that Litmos could handle it, and I'd even venture to guess that it would run on a mobile device as well, even at that large of a size. It would probably work better on Wi-Fi, right? If you're on a device, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to try, to be honest. I'd love to be able to, maybe she and I can talk, and if she could send me one of those big files, I'll just plug it into my instance of Litmos, just test it and just see how it works and what it looks like.
There you go, Andrea. You can test it out at Litmos with
Yeah.
Brent.
I'm happy to do it. I like to, I'm new at the company, and there's a lot about the tool that I'm still trying to learn. I put it through its paces as much as I possibly can, but I'm still on a little bit of a learning curve as well. So anytime I get a chance to help somebody, test something out to see if it'll work or not, I'm always happy to.
Excellent. And I
what
guess
else?
you got that
Was
there.
there? So there was the size question, and what was the other one?
The future of the LMS in general.
Oh, yeah. So, so I think I might even have been one of those people who may or may not have blogged about the death of the LMS at some point in my career. But
I don't know anybody else
I
that's
think
done that.
I think a more conservative sort of approach is that it's just evolving, just like everything else. There's different shifts. There's different needs. One of the things that I've learned a lot, and it really was and still is of great value to me, is just like listening in on sales calls and actually talking to people who are out there looking for LMSs, and hearing about their needs. You have the classic, large companies. Still looking for that enterprise gigantic install, and they've got a huge checklist that they're trying to go through, right? Those still exist, and that kind of blew my mind that people still go about.
I work there.
Yeah, that still go about doing it that way. But but then there's others. Actually, quite a lot of companies and employees of smaller, mid-sized companies that aren't the academically trained instructional designers that all of a sudden get handed the training role, the training function within the company, and they're just trying to figure out, what is familiar to them, what works, what's easy, and those are the folks that really tend to gravitate towards Litmos, because it's so easy for everybody. It's easy to understand the concept. It's easy to get it up and running. It's, everything about it, just non-instructional design, non-developers, people that just, it's not their career, find it extremely appealing. And so that, there seems to be a large, audience of folks out there that are just, hey, I just got some content and we want to be able to track it, and we want people to be able to take it, and we want to assess if they've, learned it, whether it's compliance or just basic, training to get new hires off the ground. They're just looking for something that can get the job done. So that's always been the interesting thing to me, because like I was saying earlier, that was kind of the hard part for me, moving to Litmos and understanding that mindset, right? Being at the e-learning guild for so long, I'd always have conversations with other experienced instructional designers and developers and people that have been doing it for a really long time. And, we're always looking towards the future and what the future is going to be. And, first of all, I know I'm kind of letting this answer run long, but don't think the LMS is going anywhere. I think it's just evolving because of the fact that there are so many people out there that aren't ready yet to look at what's next, because they don't even know what's now or what was. They just know they have a job they need to get done. They need to deliver training content. They need to be able to report out on it. It needs to be easy. It needs to be mobile, and that's what they're looking for, just an easy tool to get that done. So
I think as long as
that always kind of dials me back a little bit in as far as my thinking goes. Instead of looking so much at the future technologies that are going to drive the LMS systems into the future, what I really think it is the future is more revolving around our processes of designing training and how we think about it. And how we think about the chunking of the content and how long the content is, and is it entertaining? Is it, what's the need of the audience? Do we need to go sort of quick and dirty with some stuff just to get some content out? Or do we need to go really high-end pro quality? Those types of things, those questions. We've always needed to answer those questions, but all of the new different technologies have now given us a much broader sort of canvas and tool set with which to work.
It's also, I think a lot of the people doing LMS selections are probably the wrong people to be doing them. Instructional designers aren't techies usually, and they don't really understand what they're buying, and they're misled often into buying the wrong tools. And I think that's why we have...
There's also very senior level managers, too, that don't know anything about the training function or about, learning, or even about IT, right? What's going to, and software as a service scares some people. They don't even know what that is yet. The cloud is still a sort of a mysterious, scary sort of thing. And so, there's still really, there's so much room for companies like Litmos to grow still, because they're, as more and more people get educated on the actual, the IT of software as a service, and how it can work within your organization, and how much more beneficial it is, and how much easier it is to maintain, all the benefits of working with cloud services. That's really going to keep the industry as a whole moving in that direction.
So I have a couple questions out in the chat pod. I'm glad to have people here today. It's more fun. Alec is asking, first of all, is there a free demo? And you alluded to that in the beginning, that there is access to free trial.
Yeah, it's 14-day demo. Setting up that demo is as easy as launching a Litmos instance and paying for it. So just fire up the demo, and you can just start uploading courses right away and start messing around with the interface. Yeah.
And then Alec is also asking, can you record videos separately and then synchronize with PowerPoint slides to create a course? So the answer to that is yes, you can, depending what other software you have. I don't know if the question is, can you marry the two within Litmos? And so maybe you want to travel down that road.
Yeah, I don't, I've never heard, I don't think there's any tool that does that marrying for you. If you've got audio, I guess the question for me would be, if you've got audio already embedded in your PowerPoint presentation, when you do the upload,
video.
If that audio will still stay with it when Litmos goes through its conversion process. And I can't answer that.
Now, I'm thinking that Alex may be referring to a tool like, I think it was called Microsoft Producer, which I think has been dead for years. But it would allow you to show a presentation live and then add audio to it as you went, and then it would create a video out of it. So I guess if you have a tool like that, you could upload the video afterwards into Litmos, but no LMS that I've ever seen could actually do that function. It's really an authoring tool kind of function.
Yeah, you need Adobe
or live broadcasting.
Articulate.
Yeah, or you do a live broadcast using some switching software to then record it. So you would, and then you upload the recording.
That's an interesting question, because I'm not. These days it's so easy. If you're going to do sort of a virtual presentation, it's so easy to, crank up a Google Hangout, for example, and go live on air and just record it. And so all of a sudden you get the presentation plus camera views plus the audio. That's easy to do. So really the whole idea of what Microsoft Producer was giving people the opportunity to be able to build that kind of file. But nowadays with all the online tools, Skype, you could even, do a presentation in Skype and record your Skype session. If you think about it from just trying to, from a life hacker sort of perspective, stick a little lavalier microphone into your iPhone or, whatever mobile device you have, stick the mobile device in your pocket, clip on the microphone, hit record your audio of you giving your presentation, and then take that audio and import it in to the slides after the fact and produce it right in PowerPoint.
That's how I do it.
Now Brent likes tech, and he likes video and all that kind of stuff and audio. Now I'm going to tell you, Brent, we spent a lot of money on mics and all that, but recently I bought a couple of these. They're $30 microphones, maybe $27 if you get it on discount at Amazon. It's an an Audio Technica 3550.
I'm going to write this down.
And I'm telling people this because I always get calls, what kind of mic should I buy? But I have no budget. Well, this is a small little mic with a 3.5 millimeter input. It's a headphone jack input.
Yeah.
You can put it on an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, whatever device you have. You can also plug it into your computer. It has a darn good sound for $27 to $30.
Is that mic that Don's holding up right there?
Yep, it's his. He's talking about a different one, but this is the same brand. He sent
Right,
me
it's the
this
same
one a while
brand,
ago.
this is a lavalier. You just clip it on.
Oh,
Right.
excellent.
And if Don, I would have sent you that one had I known about it. Then maybe I will send you one of those, because
Well,
then you just
Christmas
clip
is
it
coming.
on, and you don't have to worry about it. It sounds great, and it's a little condenser. It has a watch battery. It has no light on it, so you have no idea when your battery goes. But supposedly you get thousands of hours on this thing.
Yeah.
And if it goes bad for $30, buy a new one. Jeez.
I know.
This one
Yeah,
was,
even,
right?
even
I could get 10 of those
similar
for
ones
one
you
of my
can buy at
normal
Radio
mics.
Shack with the Radio Shack brand.
Yeah.
And those pick up some pretty decent sound.
Yeah.
I've been watching some YouTube videos on hacking, easy do-it-yourself sort of studio builds and audio and whatnot. And there's a guy called the Frugal Filmmaker. If anybody wants to go check him out, he's got some great do-it-yourself projects. And while I was watching those, I also saw some other stuff, in the little right-hand panel as you're watching YouTube stuff, and it was, how to convert your little earbuds that you get, when you buy a new iPhone or whatever, into a lavalier microphone. And
Interesting.
I was thought to, you just basically clip off the ear part just right down to the top of the little microphone piece. You get a Sharpie, color it all black. You can you can duct tape it onto like a little clip that you can buy at Radio Shack for 30 cents or whatever, and boom, you've got an instant lavalier mic.
Oh, how funny!
And it comes out. The sound comes out a little bit tinny, but you push it into GarageBand or something like that, and throw in some EQ, and it sounds great.
Well, it's probably the same guy that built some light boxes I watched out of fluorescent tubes. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
The whole thing, they're not hot and that whole thing. So Holly wants to know about what's on the roadmap, the product roadmap for Litmos.
Oh, wow. Well, there's a lot. We're sort of in that growing phase, right? So I think a lot of it I'm not supposed to talk about, but
What?
I can allude to the gamified elements of the Litmos dashboard will continue to be worked on. So it's we're taking sort of a phased approach there. So the user dashboard is, going to be filled with, your ability to do badges, to deliver sort of micro certifications, right? A big trend in the industry right now. Leaderboards, things like that. Right now, I think the leaderboards are coming up in sort of a phase 2 of the new dashboard, but the new dashboard looks great from the user perspective, and always upgrading. Seeing how we can make things better with the interface, and mostly just taking tips from our current customer base, and what it is that they're looking for. I think one of the things, I'm not exactly sure where on the roadmap it is, but we're really excited about the ability to, in your assessments, to give the learners the ability to record video themselves and upload it. So there could be perhaps a live video, not live, but a recorded video question, or maybe there's a scenario of some sort that you've got split up into different modules, right? And it's how would you handle this? And right within the course there, you will be able to, just launch the camera on your phone, your mobile device, answer the question, and then just click answer, or however the interface is going to work, and then your video gets uploaded. It can get reviewed by the instructor or an expert, and and so it gives you a much more dynamic sense of assessment, a little bit more real aspect of that. So that's going to be fun.
That'd be a great on-the-job tool.
Yep, and you know what?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And you know what? We're going to leave that as an open question because we're actually out of time. And
I had another question.
What's the other question? We have 1 minute.
Instead of just a demo, is there a course that a person checking out Litmos can complete from start to finish? Is there a demo course?
I believe there is a demo course. I'm going to have to ask about that. We just recently launched our new website, and so there's been a lot of effort put into that. If you go to litmos.com and check that out. So a sort of a sample course. The old one, again, like we've changed our brand. Like I said, with that video, for example, is a little dated. And so we're working feverishly to get all of that updated, including our course that you can take, our introductory course, to go through and do a sample. But yes, I do believe that there is one there. And as you launch your trial of Litmos, it will be preloaded with the sample course.
Okay, that's what
great.
I needed to know. Perfect.
And now we're out of time.
Now we're out of
So,
time.
hey, Brent, got to have you back on.
Yeah, it's always fun. Anytime. I love this.
It's fun, and I thought you were going to be in studio for a moment. I was all excited. Wow, we're going to get him in here.
I know. I thought I was going to be traveling too. It worked out perfectly on the dates, but then at the last minute, I canceled my plans.
I know how that goes.
Long story, but yeah, it happens.
Well, good. Well, we'll definitely get you in here one of these days, and stay tuned. I'll talk to you later about vMix, and we're going to be building some computers to do this. I think we're going to get into a little bit of that business because it's fun.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah.
So, and we build all our own,
absolutely.
and short of the Macs, we build all of our own machines. They're all really fast video machines, so they can all handle video streaming. So that's coming. Dawn, as always, a pleasure. Are you here next week?
I am.
Okay, good. So we have somebody lined up. I have no idea who right now, but we will have somebody lined up. Hey, Brent, a pleasure seeing you again. Good meeting in person, and we will see you soon. And everybody out there in the chat room, thanks for being there and thanks for participating. It's always fun. Holly, nice to finally hear of you. I've been following her on Twitter for years.
Oh, yes, have we all.
And Andrea, I think I follow you on Twitter too. So I don't know who else was in there. Maybe
Alec?
Leva, maybe some other. Alec. Now, was that Alec Baldwin or no? You never know. I'm
no,
sorry.
it was
We're in
the other
California. We're
Baldwin.
used to that. Hey, have a good one, everyone. And if you're watching the recordings, please subscribe, and we will see you next week. Take care.
great. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thanks.